can see, it's that time again for us to get cooking. So today I'm making a classic Southern dessert bread pudding, and this is a request that I get from some of my best friends, some of my good friends, Wayne and his wife Celia. So Wayne and Celia, this video is for y'all. So let's get our ingredients together so we can get our bread pudding in the oven. Alright, so for the first thing that we're going to need to do for our bread pudding is we are going to need to mix our sugar and our eggs together. And this is what's referred to as creaming your eggs. So we're going to get this all mixed up. Alright, so now that we've got these all creamed up, we're going to start adding in our ingredients and get our bread pudding into the oven. So we'll be back here in just a second. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add in our milk. Give this a little stir. And try not to make too big of a mess. Yeah, I gave this recipe to a friend of mine at work a few years back, and we're adding our vanilla now. And what they did, they didn't read the instructions properly, and they came to me and they were like, "Oh my God, it turned out so wrong, what happened?" I asked them, I said, "So what did you do?" She's like, "Well, I read the recipe, and we're gonna scoop out all our sweetened condensed milk." And she said, "I followed the recipe and I used the Texas toast out of the freezer section." And I'm like, "Out of the freezer section?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know, the frozen Texas toast." I said, "With the garlic on it?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's the one I used." I said, "Well, that's where you messed up." I said, "Because if you read the recipe, it says if you can't find Texas toast bread, then you can just double the number you need of regular bread." So I'm hoping that y'all don't make the same mistake. But, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, at least in my book it seems kind of hard. So now we're going to add in our cinnamon. And we'll get that mixed up in here. And don't worry about the cinnamon clumping up, because once we get the bread all mixed and mashed up in here, those clumps won't be there. Alright, so let me get the bread ready and we'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so we've got our bread. I wasn't able to find any Texas toast at the store, so I am using 7 slices of white bread. I'm just going to break this up in here. Now, a lot of people will use stale bread or French bread, so you can use whatever bread you like. So, you know, I just always use some type of white bread because it's always readily available at the store. So we're going to get this up in here. So I'm going to continue doing this with my bread because we want to make sure it gets all soaked up. And then once we're ready to transfer this to a pan, we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got all our bread mixed in with our custard, and the last thing we're going to do is we are going to add in our butter. And this is the healthy part. So we'll get that thoroughly mixed in. Make sure to get out all this in my whisk. There we go. And now we're going to transfer this to an oven-safe baking dish. So far we're doing good. I have not made a mess like I normally do. Just spread this out evenly. There we go. And so now, if you like, you can sprinkle the top with cinnamon just for a little bit of garnish, but I normally don't. So this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for 30 to 45 minutes. And normally what I like to do is I like to let it swell up and then kind of like a souffle. And then when I pull it out, it falls and it compacts really tight, and it's really, really wonderful. So let me get this in the oven, and we'll see y'all whenever everything's ready. So our bread pudding has been going for about an hour. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. As you can see how it's all puffed up. Now what we're gonna do is we are gonna set this to the side and let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, so this has been sitting for 15 minutes, so we're gonna get this served up. There we go. All right, so if you like, you can serve this up with bourbon caramel sauce or just a caramel sauce. I tend to just serve mine up plain. So, you know, nothing set in stone. Bread pudding is very versatile. Some people like to add pecans to it, and they also like to add chocolate chips, but I just prefer the plain bread pudding, traditional, what I grew up with. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and as always, be nice, be kind, because it doesn't hurt to make it a better day. So enjoy the food.